What's happening, friends? Sean, the average angler here, and today we are going to do another teaching experience for bass fishing basics. So to kind of follow up on the Texas rig video that I just did, which you people seem to like quite a bit, we're going to follow up with the next technique you can kind of wrap into the same rod. You don't even have to have a different rod. You can use the same rod. Cheers. Having a Modelo today. Yep, that's good. And we are going to talk about spinnerbaits. This here's a War Eagle spinnerbait, and you can always tell the War Eagle by the head style there. The nice thing about the War Eagle is they're very reasonably priced. And spinnerbaits are kind of a funny thing. They used to all be fairly reasonable, and then, you know, COVID happened, and now we have spinnerbaits you can probably spend 20 bucks on. I try not to do that, but some of the ones that I used to really like, they might be in the 12 to 14 pound class now. I have 3 boxes full of spinnerbaits, so I'm not in any danger of needing to buy any. But there's a reason that the spinnerbait would be the next in line for me to introduce somebody to behind the Texas rig worm, craw, creature, whatever you elect to put on it. And that is very much like the Texas rig. You can fish these in and through cover, around cover. They're pretty weedless, right? Because you got the wire and the blades protecting the hook point there. So you can throw them just about anywhere. And then you're getting into the reaction realm of fishing. Now there's all kinds of different spinnerbaits. This is, you know, painted blades, gold blades. This is a golden shiner pattern with a, you can see, much fancier head. Does it make a difference? Yeah, I think to the fisherman it does. I don't think it does to the fish. You know, the fish just see that thing come flashing by and eat them up. There's another, this is a rod strainer, I believe. Anyway, there's a ton of spinnerbaits available, and the great thing about spinnerbaits is, again, they're weedless. You don't go through a lot of them. You can catch a ton of fish on them. There's one that was probably a little bit pricier. I don't know the brand. The only thing with spinnerbaits is the blades will start to tarnish. It doesn't mean you gotta throw them away. It means you gotta wipe them down. That's a hand-tied spinnerbait. So that's the big difference in the spinnerbaits, right? If you can get yourself something hand or wire tied, they tend to last a lot longer. I have a bunch of frames over there that the rubber bands decayed over time, because I've had some of these spinnerbaits I've had probably 25 years, and the rubber band just decays and falls apart. Now, what do we need to fish a spinnerbait? First of all, let's go over where we throw it. Again, you can fish these from the bank, you can fish it from a boat, kayak, stand-up paddleboard, it doesn't matter. And you can pretty much throw them anywhere except in snotty grass. Snotty grass will clog up the blades and it won't allow them to spin. But other than that, they pretty much can be fished just about anywhere. And quite honestly, in that snotty grass, it's hard to fish just about anything. All right, so what do we need? Again, a similar rod to what we used. This is a Powell 734. This one is a St. Croix 7'3". It's called the Marshall Fast Action St. Croix Marshall. The 7'3" medium heavy is a very universal rod. Can be used for a lot of things. So if you can't get a lot of rods, there's a lot of things. This Powell here, for instance, here I'll read it to you. top waters, Carolina rigs, spinnerbaits, and swim baits. Again, 7.3 heavy, fast action, 10 to 20 quarter ounce to 1 ounce. Okay. On the Marshall there, I have a big flutter spoon. Yeah. 7.3 medium heavy is just a good universal rod. You can flip with it, you can pitch with it, you can do all kinds of things with it. You can throw a spinnerbait very effectively. I used to have spinnerbait specific rods, and honestly I sold them because I just liked using that 7.3 better than I did the spinnerbait specific rod. Now, if you're going to throw a real light spinnerbait, maybe a quarter ounce, most of mine are half ounce. I kind of stick with half ounce the majority of the time. You can adjust blades. Bigger blades, more lift. You can fish a heavier bait. It'll stay higher in the column. You can also adjust by the speed of which you're retrieving at. Now, sorry, the cat is up on top of my canopy out in front of the house. Okay, anyway, as far as fishing line goes, if you're a budget type fisherman, 15-pound Berkley big game. Probably still one of the best buys on the market. I still use it today. As a matter of fact, I believe, yep, that is what's on this right here. This is Berkley big game. It says 16 because I probably was out of 15 stickers. Berkley big game is very dependable. Yes, it's a regular mono, so there's some stretch. However, I never had a problem with it, honestly, prior to fluorocarbon or braid coming out. Kind of bit into the hype train, and now rods are kind of built around a less stretch. The other thing for the budget fisherman is you can fish braid. I don't particularly like fishing braid on a lot of things other than frog rods and some top water. That's me. I have a pretty big hook set, and it tends to hurt my shoulder, so I don't even use a regular frog rod. I actually would use the 734 as a frog rod. I do have some frog specific rods. Generally the frog specifics are longer, so there's going to be a little bit more bend in them, so they're not as shocking when I set the hook. And those are also for distance casting. So, and spinnerbaits come, this is my white and chartreuse box. When to use painted blades, okay, and this can be a big deal. Painted blades first thing in the morning before the sun gets up on the water, and I don't know why, but it tends to elicit some giant strikes, bigger fish, right? The other time I would use painted blades, when the water's dirty. I'm trying to see if I have any in this box. I know I own some chartreuse and white painted blades. Yep, right there. Oh boy. Now we got something to do after the video's over. There we go. Chartreuse and white painted blades. Okay, same thing. Dirty water first thing in the morning before the sun gets up on the water, or late in the evening, just tends to elicit very good reaction bites. Next we'll cover square bills. How, where, when, why. The spinnerbait can pretty much be fished year round, and you can get into heavier spinnerbaits, 3/4, 1 ounce, different types of blades like a Colorado blade, Indiana blades. Most of the time I'm throwing double willows or a Colorado willow combo. This one you'll see has pretty big blades on it. You want to kind of match the blade size to the bait fish. There's a smaller, but not small by any means. And then there's the Terminator, and this one has a small Colorado, gold willow, and then this skirt, and I believe when you buy them, they come with a spare skirt. Terminator titanium, right? They just snap back. These are a great buy because they're not going to break, and they tend to last a long time. Plus you get an extra skirt with it. The more expensive baits are going to have more expensive components. It doesn't mean that you need to buy those. The other ones work fine, to be quite honest. The War Eagle, the Booyahs. Booyah's got some great ones. So here's a much smaller one. That's probably a 3/8 for, you could fish small ponds, creeks, those kinds of things, anywhere where the bait's smaller, or maybe the fish are smaller. Anyway, pick yourself up a spinnerbait, take it out, spend some time with it. Don't be afraid to get it hung up. I'm not saying you can't, but they generally come through things pretty well. And if you put your bait where others aren't, your odds of getting bit go up. Sean the Average Angler, thanks for watching the channel. We really appreciate it. We'll see you soon.